Hey guys, welcome back to another collection update. I have all the games stacked in front of me that I purchased or received as Christmas gifts rather, and just thought I'd go through them and hopefully you see a couple in here that you are interested in. I can give you some recommendations. So let's get started. I'll start with the games I picked up for my 3DS. The very first one being Paper Mario Sticker Star. Now, I have not had time to play this, but I know that my friend Phoenix923 says it's one of the best games he played of 2012, so if that means anything to you. Unfortunately, I have a lot more on my plate right now, so this is just kind of sitting on my shelf, but very happy to have this. Can't wait to get into it. I really like the Paper Mario series, so hopefully this will hold up to that pedigree. Next game, also for my 3DS, is the game Shinobi. Again, huge fan of Shinobi. I think I have all the games, including Shinobi and Nightshade on PS2. And this is pretty good. I have a couple little complaints about it. It seems like they chose to use every button on the 3DS to do something, including switching between, like if you were clinging to a ceiling and you wanted to flip up to the roof, there's a button for that rather than just pushing up. And this is very, very difficult of a game, so it takes me a while to get through each level. I think the first level took me about 2 to 3 hours to beat the first level, because you really have to learn the parry technique and learn the layout of the levels as you go. So, but overall, really good game. It's pretty cheap too, so I highly recommend this to anyone who has a 3DS. It's very old school. So if you're into that kind of thing, do check this out. I highly recommend that. We'll move on to the games I picked up for my Xbox 360, which is 4 games. First game is High Speed Robot Action Zone of the Enders HD. I have not had time to get into this yet. I kind of bought it on a whim. A friend of mine that I work with bought it, didn't like it. And I said, well, if you're going to sell it, I'm actually really interested in checking it out. So he sold it to me for $15. And it's in pristine condition, comes with all the discs and everything. So I can't complain. I have not had time, like I said, to get into this, but I'm hoping to. I have played I believe it's the first game I have on PS2, and I have played that, and it is a lot of fun. I've also seen the Japanese anime based on this game as well, and I really enjoy that show. So hopefully this will hold up to what I played before. The next game for my Xbox 360, I'll do this one, is Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. You know, it's a pretty good racing game. Anyone that's listened to my podcast knows my basic feelings about this game, but not as good as the first, still a solid game, loads of fun. And I'm working my way through the various challenges where you gain star points to unlock characters and levels and all that other stuff. So, controls are pretty good. Everything, you know, it all feels really good. The only problem I really have with it is the weapons that you get don't really seem to pack the same kind of punch like in the first game. Also, Danica Patrick is in this game for some reason I can't decipher. But still, lots of fun, and adding in the different vehicles was a really nice touch, and it works pretty well. So, highly recommend that, especially, I know the Wii U version has problems, or so I've read, but if you have a Wii U and you're looking for something to play that'll keep you occupied for a while, that's a game I would recommend, based at least on the Xbox version. Let's see. These last 2 games I bought on the same day. I went to a local store at the day this was released, and that is Anarchy Reigns, a Platinum Games release for the Xbox 360. It kind of plays like, I don't want to say like God Hand, but it kind of plays like your general third-person brawling action game. Really simple combat system. The graphics are so-so, and the game really doesn't have a lot to it. It's mostly geared towards online, which is a shame because I don't play online too often. But it is a fun game. The story in it is a little weird, hard to describe, but I really can't complain. It's a Platinum Games release, so you know, it's pretty good for what it is. I guess I was just kind of hoping for something a little better, but you know, this is pretty good as far as I can tell. I've only played this for a couple of hours, so I'm hoping to get back into this, but I've got other games on my plate, like I said, so this has been shelved for a while until I can get back to it. The next game is Lollipop Chainsaw. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment pickup, because when I went to pick up Anarchy Reigns, which was only $30, this was sitting near it for just $19.99. Couldn't pass that up, so I bought them together. This is fun. It's a Suda51 game. It's over the top. It's ridiculous as hell. It's a blast. What can I say? Any of the complaints people have brought up, I don't know if they're technically valid, because I really haven't noticed anything wrong with the game yet. The combat is a little simplistic, I'll give them that, but it's fun, and the story's engaging, so I don't know, I'm having a blast with this. So for 20 bucks, you really can't go wrong. So I would highly recommend this game to anyone who's a fan of just quirky, over-the-top games, especially now that it's on sale. Or rather, the price has dropped. Alright, so we'll move on to my PS3 games I picked up. I picked up 3 new PS3 games. First one being the Journey Collection. This is... I bought it mainly to play Journey, because all these people had so many good things to say about it, and rather than download it, I went out and bought this, because it also has Flower and Flow, 2 other games I wanted to try. So... figured it was the best bang for the buck kind of thing. I've only been able to play Journey out of this so far, and I did get all the way through it. Not that that's a big surprise or anything, because you know, it is a relatively short game. I beat it in about an hour. But it's not really... When people say art game, they're really talking about a game like Journey. There's almost no challenge to it whatsoever. It's really just wandering around and experiencing the world and the characters and the... I don't even want to call them characters, because they don't even really talk, but it is a absolutely amazing game. It deserves all the praise it gets. You know, it was an emotional game for me. I remember sitting in the dark playing this late at night. I turned my phone off, I turned my computer off, I didn't want any distractions, and I sat and I played through this, and it's a really amazing game. As for Flower and Flow, I have not played those yet. My only complaint with these games is, it's actually this whole release in general, is you have to actually install the games. Like, you put the disc in, and it launches the game like it normally would, but then all the menus tell you to go out of the game to install via a separate icon that shows up. And then once you do that, they install the hard drive, but you still have to have the disc in to play the games, even though it's not accessing the disc at all. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. There are a lot of bonuses on here that are nice. There's like the soundtrack and the director commentary and a whole bunch of other things. And they also included 3 mini games that the company put out as part of like a game jam or something, which they're all weird, over the top, but fun. You know, but my only complaint with that is you have to have the disc in the drive in order to play the games. So even though they're installed, they won't load unless you have the disc in the system, which is a little strange. But still, highly recommend Journey. If you haven't played it, I'm sure a lot of people have, but it almost justifies getting a PS3. It's really that good. So, the next game I picked up is Yakuza 4. I have not played this because I'm still playing Yakuza 3, but obviously I like Yakuza. Here's Yakuza 4. I bought a PS3 for the Yakuza series, or one of the reasons I bought a PS3. So, can't really tell you much about this, except it's the 4th game. And to go along with that, I also picked up Yakuza Dead Soul. I have a little bit of a story with this one. I ordered Yakuza 4 off Amazon. Got it. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. So I ordered this one off Amazon a little bit later when it dropped in price. And they shipped me the European copy, which was a Region 2. Because if you look on the spine of all the PS3 games, there's a number, and that number determines what region of the world they can play in. And like America, Canada, and I believe some of South America is Region 1, whereas Europe is Region 2, and I forget all the other regions, but the numbers are all different. And so it was listed as a Region 2 game, which means it wouldn't work. So I ended up returning it, and they're like, well, just order it again. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not guaranteed I'm going to get the Region 1 copy. So I went out to GameStop and picked this up. Just because at that point I was just so frustrated, I just wanted to have it. And I haven't really played it, so I can't really tell you if it's any good. But looking forward to diving into that. And also, I understand that's not even part of the series canon, so that's fine. But had to get it anyway. And the next is a stack of games I'm actually really proud I have. I have this thing. I like to go to used game stores and buy the really cheap stuff. Stuff that's, you know, $10 or below. Because a game like Yakuza 4 or Dead Souls will run you about $20. Whereas you can take that $20, walk into a used game store, and walk out with 4 or 5 games if you know what you're doing. All these games are for the Sega Genesis, just because I was in the mood to get some Sega Genesis games. And there's actually 5 of them, and I think I paid a total of $23 for all 5 of these games, which isn't that bad. The first game is Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Roar of the Beast. I picked this up mainly just out of curiosity, because the spine actually reads Roar of the Beast. That's all it says. It does not say Beauty and the Beast. So, looking at it, it actually looked pretty good. And, you know, Disney games tend to be alright on the old classic 16-bit systems. You got your Mickey Mouse games, you have the Lion King, Aladdin, and so on. All tend to be really good games. So, I hadn't heard of this one, decided to give it a shot, and it's terrible. It's not very good at all. You basically play as the Beast, and you walk around and punch stuff, but he's so huge, he has this gigantic hitbox that it's really kind of confusing. And I have not been able to get past the first level despite my best efforts. So, still comes with the case, not the manual, sadly, but the cart is in good shape, which is probably a bad sign. When an old 16-bit cart like this is in good shape, that means nobody played it, which means it's probably not any good, which I think is the case for this game. But still, interesting pickup. Bought it more for the name than anything else, or rather the name on the spine. But moving on, these are all cartridge only, but I paid $3. Oh, I paid $3 for this as well. So again, not that much money and fun to try out. This next game I paid $3 for as well, which is eSWAT City Under Siege. This thing is riddled with old rental stickers. Something from Video Watch. There's a Video Watch sticker on the back as well. And there's some kind of number sticker on the top. I'm going to see if I can't get these off and get this cartridge looking better, because the label itself is actually in pretty good shape. eSWAT is a classic Genesis game that harkens back to games like Rolling Thunder, Codename Viper, you know, games like that where you just run forward and shoot and duck and dodge. And it's pretty good. I haven't gotten very far in the game because it is pretty hard, but I have been able to get, I think, to the 3rd level, and it is a lot of fun. I do really like this game. So, $3 can't go wrong. It's pretty decent for what it is. I don't think it's as good as, like, Codename Viper, but, you know, it certainly looks better than Codename Viper. The next game I picked up, also $3, was Sunsoft's Bubble and Squeak. And I picked this up mainly because I had no idea what this was. It's basically like you play as a toddler, and you've got this little blue creature. I'm assuming that his name is... Actually, I don't know who's called who. I think the baby is called Bubble, and the thing is called Squeak, but I have no idea. Fun game. It's kind of a generic platformer, but it has an interesting mechanic where you play as the toddler, and when you find Squeak in the level, alright, you know, the blue thing, you can actually have him follow you around, and you have to get him, both of you, to the end of the level. So he has some rudimentary AI, kind of like Tails from Sonic 2, where he will kind of follow you, and he can do things like throw you in the air so you can hit really high targets or pick up some of the various gems that are lying around. Or you can ride him like Yoshi and he shoots bubbles, or you can kick him and he turns into a ball and just kind of ricochets all over the level. So it's interesting. It's like I said, it's a little generic. There's not anything that really sets it apart from other platformers like Rocket Knight Adventure, Mario, Sonic, that kind of thing. But still, for $3, can't go wrong. So this game I picked up. I paid $10 for this game, mainly because I couldn't believe they had it. And it's a Sega Genesis game called Ernest Evans. This is an odd game. The cover looks something like out of Indiana Jones, and that's basically what it is. It plays a little bit like a second-rate Castlevania. Man, it's really hard to explain this, but it's... Imagine if your character... If you had an action figure that was like super articulated, okay? And so all their joints moved, all their little fingertips moves, everything. That's what this character's like. He's like a super articulated action figure. And the animation in it is pretty impressive, but at the same time really clunky. And when he whips with his whip, his arm just kind of goes stiff like this and goes up and down. It's really weird. But still, kind of a fun game. And for... I don't know what else to say. It's kind of a fun game. It's a little bit strange. So if you're into Sega Genesis games at all, look this one up. It's worth a laugh, but I really enjoyed this. And the last game, this was a huge surprise to me how much I like this game, and that is Data East's Atomic Runner. I looked up a little information about this game after I played it, and it's a port of an arcade game called Chelnov, the Atomic Runner, or something like that. And in the game, you play as this character called Chelnov, who... There's these creatures called the Deatharians who overtake the Earth, and they kill off your father, and they kidnap your sister. And so your father, in his dying breath, gives you this power suit to make you the Atomic Runner. And that's the game. Like, you're just running through the levels. And it's kind of hard to explain. I would call this really like a shooter, like a scrolling shooter. Essentially, the screen is constantly pushing you forward, and you can only shoot straight in front of you, behind you, or at 45-degree angles either direction. You can't shoot straight up. And you basically, shoot and jump over everything to try to get to the end of the level. One hit, you're dead, which makes it extraordinarily frustrating at times, but the music's great, the animation's great, the animation on the main character you play as looks like something out of Prince of Persia or something. It's really impressive. Guaranteed this is going to be a game I'm going to review down the line. It might even be my next. But yeah, this is great. And for $3, you really can't go wrong with this. I just bought it mainly because of the title, Atomic Runner, and how just generic that label looks. But still, this game's a blast. If you're into like really hard arcade-style games, or you like shooters, this might be something to check out. So, that is all the games that I have. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 14, I think. I hope you guys saw some games in the stack that you were interested in. There's a lot I can recommend. Any of the Genesis games I held up, besides the Beauty and the Beast game, are all worth checking out, especially for the price. And Journey is amazing. I can't say enough about Journey. So, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you saw some games you're interested in. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next collection update.